gaming keyboards. They're expensive, they're sometimes loud, and I think above all, they're bloody unnecessary. Let's talk about that. G'day everyone, I am Lucas from the Aussie Gamers Experience, and today I'm taking a look at a couple of keyboards, and I'm going to talk about gaming keyboards versus your cheap membrane style keyboards for PC use. Now, for the last couple of years I've been using the Roccat Sawara, which is this keyboard just here, and for the most part this is a pretty damn good keyboard. However, this keyboard here, you pick up these days for $150 Australian. Now this is an expensive keyboard, not the most expensive keyboard out there, but it's expensive for what you're getting. Now, you are getting a good quality keyboard. I have stopped using it now. After a couple of years, it does have some issues. Specifically, for some reason, the Alt key works fine. The V key, sorry, not the Alt key, the Control key works fine. The V key works fine. But together, Control V for paste, which is something I use a lot, stopped working, and it's not a software issue because I've tried deleting drivers, reinstalling them, and using different keyboards fixes the problem. So they obviously wear out like anything does, and I no longer use this one. But for the best part of the couple of years that I use this for, it has been a very solid keyboard, and I've been very happy with it. Now, the thing is though, it's a loud keyboard. Now this is Roccat's specific style switches. They are brown switches, and they don't click, so to speak, but they do make a heavy sound. So when you're doing a recording, if you want to do a little bit of a stealth type or a little bit of a Google in the background, everybody is going to know about it. Now, not all mechanical keyboards are noisy, but I find that most of them are. While they don't necessarily click, because that's not a click, if you press it slowly, there's no click, but it's more so just the design of a mechanical switch hitting the rock bottom and making sound. Now, this one here, it has its fancy blue backlighting. The newer model has full RGB. That's fancy, that's fantastic. This one has game mode on it, so you can switch the mode so the keys will change their function immediately after pressing game mode. It also has anti-ghosting, which means you're not going to have missed keystrokes. It has ridiculous response rates for gaming, making sure that every key press gets registered and gets registered when you press it. All of those features are impressive, and sometimes, yeah, I guess those things are necessary if you're at the niche tier of gaming. But who really is? You know, there's a few of them out there, but I would dare say that the vast majority of us are just general gamers, and for that I would say that something like this, $150, $200, $250, going up to $300, sometimes even more, is totally unnecessary. All you're paying for is a name brand, you're paying for loud obnoxious clicks, and you're also paying for a whole ton of features that sound good but probably give you absolutely no benefit whatsoever. Now, looking at the complete other side of the spectrum, you can also buy some cheap, nasty rubbish, and I'm looking at something like this. Now, this is a keyboard that I picked up just to have a check, just to have a look at it and see what you are actually getting. Now, this I think was about $15 from Wish, and it was a cheap keyboard. Now, this keyboard works. At bare minimum, it works. The key presses work. It's a membrane style keyboard, so it's not very loud. And the membrane, just so you know, if you've ever pulled like a remote control for a TV apart, and it has that sort of rubberized, silicone sort of membrane for the buttons, this is essentially what these keyboards have, and it takes all those pressure inputs as a keystroke rather than a mechanical switch going in. Now, but something like this, the poor quality of something like this is when you will go and press, say, something like backspace. If you press the backspace button and you're not quite centered, it's not going to press the button down. It gets stuck. You got to press it in the middle. and if you're off to the side, it doesn't depress. So you get issues like that. The backlighting in this one is rubbish as well, and it's just something that I would not recommend spending money on. It is a cheap, nasty, no brand piece of crap, and it's marketed as a gaming keyboard. It's not. It's a piece of rubbish. However, there are some options out there that are reasonable in price, that will do everything that you want it to do. And that's something like this. Now, believe it or not, this was also $15, and this was off Amazon, and it's a Microsoft keyboard. It's a membrane keyboard. It's cheap, but it's not nasty. It's cheap, good quality gear here. Now, this kind of keyboard is not going to give you your fancy RGB backlighting or anything like that, but it has your standard layout, and it has your number pad on the side, and it has membrane keys which are silent and work just as good, arguably, as a $150 keyboard that has all the bells and whistles. Now, this sort of keyboard doesn't come with any software to help you remap all the keys. There's no macro configurations or anything like that. But for someone like me, I do play games on my PC. However, I'm not a hardcore PC gamer. 9 times out of 10 when I play a PC game, I'm using one of those to play my games, which is probably sacrilege to some of you PC guys, but look, hey, that's what I prefer. But when it comes to using macros and all that fancy stuff on my Rocket Sawara, I very rarely actually used them. It was great that they were there, and I was able to do something like that, but I never used it. It was something that just got wasted on me. I do have a gaming mouse, but that's a story for a different time, and I do use a lot of macros on that. So I use a lot of that stuff on a gaming mouse. On my keyboard, I mainly use that for typing, and if I'm playing a PC game with it, it's WASD, a couple of the numbers, and reload and all that sort of stuff. I don't really need any more fancy inputs or abilities. I don't know. I just think it's a waste of time. $15 is what this keyboard cost me, and I'm super happy with it, versus I would have had to replace the Rocket with a $150 keyboard, and it's just not necessary for me. Alright, well, that's all I've got for today. Now, this video, yes, it is highly opinionated. It's what I think. It's not necessarily the be-all and end-all. Some people may benefit from these kinds of keyboards that do cost $150 and above. But leave your comments and your opinions down below in the comment section. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. That'd be much appreciated. Keep these comments nice and civil. I would really appreciate that too. Alright, well, that's all I've got to say for now. So until next time, I am Lucas, and until then, I will see ya!